want to welcome everyone into your city hall. So please come on in. It is 6 p.m. All right. Well, welcome to City Hall. Today is October 17, 2023, and it's 6 p.m., and I'm going to call the meeting for the City of Iowa. Well, before I do that, I actually wanted to maybe just make a quick statement here while people are gathering in. It's been a sobering last 10 days as we've continued to see reports of the war between Israel and Hamas, with all its complexities that is affecting Israelis, Palestinians, and many, many more people across the globe. The loss of life, the violence, the terror is too much to comprehend. Our hearts go out to all of those who are impacted. We together assert that all targeted violence is harmful and that we long for the cessation of violence, for a shared and expansive community of hope, and for the attainment of true peace. To all those in and around Iowa City that are impacted more directly, we stand with you. I invite you all to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. We're going to go into our agenda item. Agenda item 1 is roll call, please.
Dunn.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Thomas.
I messed it up.
Alter.
Here.
Burgess.
Here. Roll call, it's here.
Yes. Well, hello, everybody. Yes, in here. All right. We're going to move on to items number 2 through 7, which is our consent agenda. Could I get a motion to approve it, please?
So moved, Taylor.
Second, Alter.
All right. Moved by Taylor, seconded by Alter. Anyone from the public like to address a topic that is on our consent agenda? And if you are online, please raise your hand and I will acknowledge you. Seeing no one in person or online, council discussion. Roll call, please.
Harmson.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Alter.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. We're on to item number 8, which is our community comment. This is an opportunity for individuals to come and speak on items that is not on our regular agenda. So if you are wanting to speak on items that are not on our regular agenda, will you please raise your hand at this time? And if you are online, please raise your hand as well. Seeing no one in person or online.
Mayor, we do have one online.
Okay, I don't see them. But thank you for catching that. Oh, I see it now. Yes, welcome Matthew North. And you'll be given 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, first I'd like to start by saying you mentioned the crisis over in Gaza.
I'm going to have you hold on for 1 second, Matthew. We're going to try to get the volume a little higher.
Perfect. Is this better?
1 second. We had a little adjustment with our system earlier. Now, if you can speak.
Yes. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can. Welcome. And your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay. Thanks for having me. I'll keep this pretty brief. With the stuff going on over in Palestine, in Israel, I'd like to say what that calls to my mind is that multiculturalism does not work. You see it firsthand over there with the chaos that's going on. And Iowa City is getting drastically more different every day. Whenever I walk around, it's just, I don't even know what country I'm in anymore. And it's really sad because when I look at the city council's website, there's more stuff on there about Black Lives Matter and racist this, and it's like, Iowa. This is a farm community, and it's a bunch of white of European descent, and we don't have a European heritage acknowledgement. And really, it's so sad that we're getting replaced in our own countries. And I'm just really tired of what the Jews have done to our communities here. They own the media, and they're the ones pushing to say that Israel is such a victim right now, and the beheaded babies, even though that's all bullshit. Excuse my language. That's all nonsense. It was just a girl with a press jacket on saying it. There's absolutely no sources for it. And even if there are images, and AI is so powerful now, you can make whatever kind of image. But these people are known liars. And I'm going to read some of their Talmud, because it says right in there, in Yabamoth 98a, all non-Jew children are animals. Sanhedrin 57a, when a Jew murders a non-Jew, there will be no death penalty. Ketubot 11b, a man who engaged in intercourse with a girl less than 3 years old of age has done nothing. Shabbath 116a, Jews must destroy books of the Christians, i.e. the New Testament. Baba Metzia 114b, the non-Jews are not human, they are beasts. And this goes on and on and on, and this is their holy book, the Talmud. It's in every synagogue across the planet, and the worst one is Libra David 37. To communicate anything to a non-Jew about our religion's relations would be equal to the killing of all Jews. For if the non-Jew knew what we teach about them, they would kill us openly. I've seen something called the Metzitza Bapa, which is an oral circumcision followed by oral suction, where a rabbi cuts 3/4 of the foreskin and then puts his mouth on the wound and bites the rest of the skin off and then sucks it off. If any sucks the blood from it, if any other grown man puts his mouth on a baby in that way, he goes to prison. But yet these rabbis are allowed to do it. And I just don't understand when somebody's going to stand up to the Jews in this country and when we're going to take our country back. So that's all I really have to say. I hope you guys take this serious and start thinking about who owns this, who's running the media, who runs our government, who is pushing all this LGBT stuff on us and all this talk about, you can call any white man racist, but as soon as a white guy says that blacks make up 13% of the population but commit 60% of the crimes, and 1 in 22 black men will commit a murder at some point in their life, you can't talk about that stuff openly. I appreciate that.
Your time is up, and we welcome Justin Comer.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, thank you. I was not planning on speaking, but after the previous public comment from Matthew North, I just wanted to say that was some pretty out there racist stuff, and I would appreciate Iowa City remaining and making progress on becoming a more inclusive community. People from all backgrounds, from all over the world, should be more than welcome here. They should be celebrated for being part of this community. The anti-Semitic stuff was also pretty outrageous, and anyone who has those beliefs in their heads should probably just keep them to themselves and rethink your life. All right, that concludes my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. We welcome Anna, followed by Mohel.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hello. I also wasn't planning on speaking during public comment, but I would also like to comment on Matthew North's comments. Sounds like he's a freak white supremacist that's online too much, and anyone with those views is not welcome in Iowa City. I'm happy to live in such a diverse community myself, and I hope all counselors publicly denounce this racist and anti-Semitic language. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Mohel, followed by Rudy.
You guys hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Wonderful. I just wanted to talk. I wanted to say I agree with everything that Mr. North said. I don't have anything prepared tonight, but racism doesn't exist to the extent that it is pushed. White nationalism is the truth and is the only way we'll save this country. Thank you.
Rudy, welcome.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I would just like to take this time for everyone to remember the tragic events that happened on June 8th in 1967, when Israeli forces attacked the USS Liberty, killing 34 U.S. Navy personnel by air and sea attacks, and injured 174 additional service members. Israel claims that their intelligence agency identified it as an Egyptian ship, but Major Uri Meretz knew that the USS Liberty was an unarmed U.S. Navy intel operation. The Israeli Air Force and Navy bombed and torpedoed the ship anyway, making sure to specifically target the lifeboats to prevent any Americans from escaping. Now, with the current global situation and the USS Gerald Ford out in the area again, what's to stop Israel from attacking our Navy ships again in order to provoke an attack on Hamas, like they did during 9/11 with the false flag attacks on the Twin Towers in New York in order to get us to invade Iraq for them? I mean, 96% of the American media is owned by 6 Jewish corporations, 6 Jewish families, and I feel that they have way too much control over the media in general. That's why our current media reporting on the situation in Gaza and Israel is very biased, and we just get to hear about this fake news about Hamas beheading babies, but we don't hear about the Israeli soldiers and the IDF killing, raping, and maiming every man, woman, and child they can get within their sights. They've made a game of shooting the genitals off children, and I say children, I mean children under 12. They high-five each other when one of them shoots somebody in the genitals, and they place bets as to who can do it fastest. And I think it's despicable that our current administration is sending soldiers in to facilitate the act of these terrorists. It's terrorists fighting terrorists over there, and we should have nothing to do with these desert people. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address a topic that is not on our agenda? Please state your name, and there is a sign-in at the desk. There's also stickers in the back for anyone that wants to speak now or even later, where you can sign your name and state your city you're from. Welcome.
Thank you. I just would like to, first of all, say that people in Palestine and Israel both going through things. Palestine has been there for 4,000 years. Jewish people and Muslim people had lived together for thousands of years without problem until it was made into a state. And then since it was made into a state, about 1 million Palestinians have been killed. So people do live together well, but when something else happened there, I think that's the problem. In 1986, Joseph Biden, 1986, said that Israel, if there was no Israel, that the U.S. would have to create an Israel in order to protect U.S. interests in the Middle East. That Israel has really been, it's not really Jewish versus Muslim or Jewish versus non-Jewish. It's a state. It's a military outpost. And we give billions of dollars every year in military arms to Israel. We give billions of dollars in arms to a lot of countries. We're going up to maybe $200 billion to go to Ukraine. Instead of calling the United States of America, sometimes we should just call ourselves Bombs Are Us. Instead of sending weapons to Israel, the U.S. should be helping negotiations. And I ask people here all over Iowa City to call your representatives, your Congress, to demand negotiations and no weapons. And the same thing with Ukraine. The U.S. had multiple times to negotiate with Russia in 2021, early 2022, and refused. The Kremlin and Ukraine, Zelensky's government, both were going to negotiate, but the U.S., what did they do? They sent bombs. And how has that helped? It hasn't helped. And in fact, Hamas's attack, they found what were supposed to be Ukrainian weapons in the hands of Hamas. So those weapons came from the U.S. So we're basically a bombs grocery store. Just come and buy bombs and we'll make business that way. Please, people in Iowa City, people who can hear this, please call your Congress people in the White House and say no more bombs. That's enough. Let's use our words. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Phil, online. Welcome, Phil.
Hi, thank you. Let me just get what I wrote pulled up. Oh, here it is. Oh man, where is it? How long do I have to speak tonight?
You have up to 3 minutes. Please state your name and city you're from.
Oh, hello. My name is Phil Barber. I'm from Iowa City. Wow, sorry, I'm really unprepared. Okay, I have it here. Thank you. You know, I'm gonna be honest, we have a lot of problems in our county. I don't want to put the blame on anybody, but, you know, I actually do want to put the blame on someone. It's always the Jews who think they can run the world and hoard the money. But, you know, when I go to the grocery store, I'm not scared of getting stabbed in the back by a Jew because they're already stabbing me in the back. I'm scared of the black people. I don't like them. These people try to buy KFC without any money. You know, these people are trash. That's why they're the color of shit. And they smell like it too. Like someone sculpted my feces, gave it the breath of life, and now us white people have to deal with them. They're nothing but monkeys. 911missinglinks.com. WatchEuropa.com. G2BFlyers.com. Thank you for your time.
Jim, you're next. Welcome.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for your time. I'll be brief.
Please state your name and city you're from.
Oh, sorry, Jim Conley, Iowa City. I'd like to comment on what the in-person speaker was speaking about the conflict in the Middle East. It is most definitely Jews versus Muslims. And I'd like to point out to all the Christians listening, the Muslim Quran speaks very highly of Jesus Christ, and the Jewish Talmud in Gittin 57a says that Jesus Christ is boiling in feces. So, which side should Christians pick? Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address a topic that is not on our agenda? Seeing no one in person or online, I'm going to close the public comment. We're going to move on to item number 9, which is Planning and Zoning Matters. 9A, a zoning code amendment, housing choice, supply, and affordability. Ordinance amending Title 14, zoning code to improve housing choice, increase housing supply, and encourage housing affordability. This is the second consideration. And could I get a motion to give a second consideration, please?
So moved, Burgess.
Second, Alter.
All right, and this is an opportunity for the public to speak on this matter, and we will allow for 3 minutes. Maybe let me get a show of hands first of everyone that wants to speak on this matter, on the zoning code amendment. Okay. Yep, we're going to allow 3 minutes for those that need additional time for language. We'll double the time to 6. Welcome at this time anyone that wants to come up. There also is a sign-in at this desk, but we also ask and invite people to go to the back to get stickers that they can pre-fill out their name and drop it in the basket. Welcome, and we'll ask everyone to state their name and the city they're from.
Hello. My name is Clinton Dimambu. I am member of St. Mary, Iowa City. I'm from Iowa City. I am a college student and a refugee from Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm here with my people, Escucha Mi Voice. We support new two-family zoning We demand if this zoning change can come with some grant to help like a refugee or immigrant to execute this change. As an immigrant and a refugee, we are facing problems. I think all those problems, the solution are in your hands. Housing is one of major problems we are facing as a refugee here in Iowa City. I have a couple examples. Right now in Broadway and K Cook apartment, the prices increase, but the landlord, they don't check how to fix if there is some problems there. Can you imagine how high density zoning will help us? The sky did not fall when Lakeside was rebuilt, so why not downtown? Immigrant workers need more affordable housing in city where we work. We ask that you let us live with our families in the heart of the city with fair for housing for all family. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Welcome.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Ninosca Campos. Soy de Honduras y vivo en las trailers de la Modern Minor.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ninosca Campos, and I live in the trailers of Modern Manor.
Como ustedes saben, este tema de las viviendas accesibles es un tema que nos compete a todos.
You may know this topic of accessible units. It's a topic that affects all of us.
Porque ustedes saben que los inmigrantes, al no tener un seguro social, no les rentan los propietarios.
You know, perhaps, that immigrants without social security numbers, they don't rent to them.
Tampoco si uno tiene puntajes crediticios ni de alquiler, piden avales.
As well as if you don't have a good credit or you don't have cosigners.
También trabajadores agrícolas y de construcción en la temporada no pueden recibir el beneficio de ayuda a la asistencia de vivienda, ya que sus trailers no están a nombre del propietario.
As well as workers such as farm workers or construction workers, when they don't have a lot of work because of the weather, such as raining, they cannot receive certain benefits for rental assistance because they don't have the trailers or the apartments in their names.
También ustedes saben que el programa de transporte a veces no es lo suficiente porque ustedes saben de que nosotros los latinos trabajamos los días domingo y el autobús no pasa y eso es muy dificultoso para nosotros.
The programs, the transportation programs, they're not always working for immigrants, especially when we are working Sundays.
Es injusto cómo le están subiendo a los lotes de las trailers en Iowa City, donde ya cuestan más de $600, donde cuesta lo mismo que cuesta un apartamento.
It's very unjust how they're raising the cost of living in trailers as much as $600 a month. That's almost as much as an apartment.
Y lo irónico de que los lotes de las trailers pertenecen afuera de la ciudad, pagamos impuestos a la ciudad, pero nuestros trabajos están aquí en el corazón de Iowa, en el downtown.
The trailers lie outside of the city. We do pay taxes, and our work, where we work our jobs, is inside in Iowa City and downtown area.
Los propietarios y los promotores deben pagar para más viviendas accesibles para cada una de las personas, pero también el gobierno tiene que pagar más para poder tener más viviendas accesibles. Gracias.
These private developers should be paying and contributing to affordable housing as well as the government. Thank you.
Thank you. welcome.
Mi nombre es Tania Díaz. Trabajo de limpieza 3 días a la semana.
My name is Tanya Diaz. I work in cleaning 3 days a week.
Vengo con Escucha mi voz.
I'm here with Escucha mi voz.
Acabo de llegar hace 3 meses a la ciudad.
I just arrived 3 months ago to this city.
He pasado por situación muy difícil ya que en inmigración no dejaron pasar a mi esposo conmigo.
I've been through a very difficult situation in immigration. They didn't let my husband come through with me.
Llegué a esta ciudad con un bebé de 5 meses, uno de 18 y una niña de 11 años que va a esta escuela.
I came to this country with a 5-month-old baby, 18-month-old baby, and 11-year-old daughter who goes to school.
Me tocó enfrentar sola a esta ciudad. Ha sido muy difícil encontrar un lugar para vivir.
I had to confront this city all alone, and it's been very difficult to find a place to live.
Son muy caros los apartamentos y ya que hay nuevos proyectos en la ciudad, quisiera que los incluyeran a nosotros los inmigrantes.
It's very hard to find an apartment. With any new project in the city, we would like to be included in this.
Emigrantes, refugiados, queremos una oportunidad de poder obtener una vivienda digna y accesible en el centro de la ciudad.
Immigrants and refugees, we would like the opportunity to find an accessible place to live that's dignified as well and near the city.
Ya que con 3 días de trabajo, las rentas son muy caras y es muy poca la oportunidad de poder rentar algo.
With only 3 days of work and the rent's so expensive, it's really hard to afford anything.
Necesitamos un apoyo, una ayuda para poder obtener una vivienda digna para nosotros, para darle a nuestros hijos, ya que somos la voz de muchas madres solteras, familias que comienzan desde cero.
We need to have more places, more opportunities for places to live so that we can, for our children. I am just one voice of a lot of single mothers that experience the same thing.
Que empezamos en esta ciudad como refugiados y inmigrantes, necesitamos más apoyo para nosotros, ya que los queda muy lejos la salud, los queda muy lejos muchas cosas que necesitamos accesibles.
As we start out here as immigrants or refugees, we need more support. Things are far away, things like medical care, etc.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and city you're from.
Hola, muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Heidi Osorio. Vengo del país de Guatemala y vivo acá en Iowa City. Trabajo en un bakery.
Hi, good evening. My name is Heidi Osorio. I come from Guatemala. I live here in Iowa City, and I work in a bakery.
Vengo de parte de mi escucha mi voz a expresar nuestra voz.
I come on behalf of, or I'm part of Escucha Mi Voz, to use my voice.
¿Cuáles son nuestras necesidades como inmigrantes en el estado de en el ciudad de Iowa City?
To say what our needs are as immigrants in this city.
Como decía mi compañera, como somos madres solteras, familias, que necesitamos el apoyo hacia la ciudad, como que nos den la oportunidad de poder construir como dúplex, como casas, para que nosotros podamos vivir en el centro de Iowa City.
Just like the lady also said, single mothers, families, they need more opportunities, more accessible units such as duplexes and things that are near the city.
Yo vivo bajo el refugio de una iglesia católica y quisiera que muchas personas tuvieran la oportunidad como nosotros y quisieran que nos den el permiso para seguir construyendo más viviendas como estas y que todos tengamos una nueva oportunidad.
I live under the support of an organization now, and I would like that other people would have this kind of support and that we have more opportunity to build more programs.
porque de hecho nosotros trabajamos en lugares muy retirados y nos hace muy difícil todas las veces, más cuando viene la nieve, nos toca caminar muchos lugares largos para poder llegar hasta nuestros hogares.
Our works are far away. It's hard. We have to walk to work, and especially with the snow coming, it just is a lot to get there.
Necesitamos viviendas y alquileres que nos puedan ayudar con nuestras necesidades, porque la verdad no ganamos lo suficiente para pagar bastante en las rentas.
We need more places to live that are more supportive. The truth is we don't earn a lot of money where we work.
Te pedimos que nos dejes vivir en el corazón de la ciudad, por favor.
And we ask that you let us live in the heart of this city as well.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you. And welcome. Welcome. And please state the name and your name and the city you're from.
Bonsoir. Je m'appelle Victor Chumnio.
I'm called Victor Chinu.
Je suis de nationalité camerounaise.
I am a Cameroonian.
Je suis ici avec ma fille Ange.
I'm here with my daughter Ange.
Je dis d'abord, je vais commencer par remercier l'association Escucha Mi Voice pour l'opportunité et le soutien qu'il nous apporte.
I want to first of all thank the association Escucha Mi Voice for the support they've been giving us and the opportunity.
Ma fille et moi, nous venons de très loin. Nous venons de l'Afrique. Vous connaissez où est située l'Afrique et le Cameroun en particulier.
We are from Cameroon, my daughter and I.
Vous connaissez la situation du Cameroun actuelle et c'est la raison qui nous pousse à immigrer jusqu'aux États-Unis.
The situation in Cameroon is hostile. That's why we are here in the United States of America.
Nous sommes arrivés dans cet État et nous avions trouvé l'hospitalité derrière Escucha Mi Voice.
We came to this state and we got support from Escucha Mi Voice.
Et si nous sommes ici ce soir, c'est parce que Escucha Mi Voice est à bout des moyens. Et nous avons vraiment besoin du soutien. Cette association aussi a besoin du soutien pour continuer à accompagner les immigrants dans cet État.
We are in need of help, and of course the association is also in need of help to continue patting our backs in this journey.
Notre traversée de l'Afrique jusqu'ici a été tellement difficile. Et avec un enfant comme celle-ci, on a besoin d'un peu plus de sécurité sociale pour vivre dans cet état.
Our journey was very difficult. And with a daughter like mine, in a state like Iowa, we definitely need more help.
Comme l'a dit mes frères qui nous ont précédés, pour avoir un logement dans cet état n'est pas facile. Et nous qui n'avons pas encore de documents, nos documents sont encore dans un processus et ça tarde. Et nous voulons que le gouvernement essaie de nous accompagner à avoir des logements et à des prix où nous pouvons les payer.
Socially, it's difficult. Especially now, housing issues are a very big problem to us, especially me, and my documents are still being processed, so it's not easy. So we're hoping that the government can do something about this so that we can at least be comfortable. At least be comfortable.
Okay. C'est la raison pour laquelle nous venons vous supplier de faire quelque chose pour que les immigrants de cet État puissent avoir du sourire parce que nous souffrons énormément.
That's why we are here to plead with you guys that you people should do something to the immigrants because we are actually suffering a lot. It's not easy.
Merci encore.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. I am Heather Sosman, which I am writing now. Heather Sosman, City of Iowa City resident. I actually grew up here. Go Little Hawks. My husband and I just bought a home in 2020 and had our first child the following year. We were super excited to buy a home in this town, and I'm here today. We're concerned about the rising number of developers in the area turning single-family homes into college rentals. We are not. I mean, we're past Governor. We're entering, the east side of Iowa City, and it's just concerning the number of college rentals that have popped up in the 2 years surrounding us, and now the plans to potentially allow developers to come in and charge college students really the cost of a mortgage in rent. So you have these college students paying essentially the mortgages for the few to continue to get rich. So that is the reason I'm here today, and it's just concerning. I'd like to see certain areas of Iowa City continue to be family neighborhoods, and so I'm asking you guys to really evaluate that and limit the expansion on where developers are allowed to come in and turn these family neighborhoods into just more college housing with turnover and trash, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, my name's Sharon DeGraw, and I live in the North Side neighborhood. And while the zoning codes have been proposed, we've been keeping an eye on the side of the North Side neighborhood that's close to Goosetown and College Hill, and I guess it's the south end of the North Side. And homes are relatively affordable there if they go on the market and can be purchased. I'm thinking about this in terms of the duplex housing that we're interested in creating. I'm a little concerned that we're essentially almost like cannibalizing the affordable housing that people could buy if it gets purchased by speculative people, landlords, who will either make it into college rental or maybe it would be for slightly affordable housing. I don't know, and I don't know how long it would be mandatory affordable housing. So I'm asking that you keep a careful eye on how you treat the central neighborhoods in terms of the zoning code changes. And the university program has helped so many people, so if you could do that again, that would be great. And if there's any kind of grant that people come into at the city, I would like it so much more if some of the folks who have spoken tonight that are really in need of housing could work with nonprofits or some entity to have a down payment so that they can actually buy a home and earn equity. That will transform their lives so much more than just being able to pay a landlord some affordable rent. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Mayor Teague and Council. I'm Mary Beth Sloniger, and I've spoken to you before on several occasions.
What city are you from?
Pardon?
What city are you from?
Iowa City, Goosetown, sorry. So I've had occasion to talk to new voices from Goosetown as people are being informed about the changes that are about to happen around us. And while letters from the city are regularly sent to us regarding the cracks in our sidewalks, weed control alerts, and snowy walkways needing to be shoveled, a letter has not arrived to tell us of the development planned by the city for lots next door. I can just say from the people that I've canvassed that they are emotionally charged about what is being planned across the street or down the block. We were a neighborhood of immigrants. And if you look at the names of homeowners here today, you will find we still are. Nor are we against low-income housing. In fact, we are low-income housing, the most vulnerable neighborhood in the city. We just don't want our houses to be removed and replaced by projects that will hugely exceed in price and scale what is here now. I mentioned the $540,000, what I call a boondoggle, on Bloomington Street last time. It replaced a simple cottage with a lot left over for the developer's pocket. As an individual, I've been going out with others to determine how much of our neighborhood is in the hands of rental agencies and investment companies, especially those with known histories of demolishing homes. And this investigation shows that we are more heavily in the rental development column than I reported to you last time. I've been told that the city's website is not current with rental permits, so this tedious quest had to be done on foot. It is my belief that there should be a way that Goosetown single-family homeowners can survive in an area that is being bought out by investors to the lessening of our quality of life. We are a diverse community of artists, cooks, bakers, florists, gardeners, eccentrics. You will be snuffing out the life of this neighborhood if you permit unleashed development to occur here. At bottom, we agree with the North Side that if a duplex is being considered, half should be overseen by a nonprofit agency for low-income entities and half for the investor. Thank you.
Thank you. And did you sign in or put a card in there?
I've got this on. Do I need to sign in? Sorry.
Oh, if you can put that in the, yeah, just fold it together so it doesn't stick. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome. She's my neighbor.
All
She
right.
dragged me here.
Yep. And I see you have a sticker in your hand so you can put it in that basket. Great. Please state your name and city you're from.
My name is Linda Stipe, and I live in Goosetown. I'm a professionally trained hospital chaplain, and I worked at Mercy Hospital for many years. My career is focused on addressing quality of life issues, and that is underpinning what I have to say today about having a triplex built on Fairchild Street. Pardon the artwork. This is Fairchild Street and Church Street. I've lived in the last house on Fairchild since 1987, right here. I have a lot of firsthand experience about what goes on at the end of Fairchild, where you are considering tearing a single-family house down and allowing a triplex to be built. Fairchild ends in a T, Church Street ends in a T. At this T, the end of Fairchild is a very large daycare. Its capacity is 50 children. Their parents start delivering them at 6:30 a.m. and pick them up at 5 o'clock. The parents drive to the daycare, but they also bike and walk. We have heavy traffic and congestion 5 days a week and a great deal of foot traffic. They have 12 employees who all park on the street. Next to the daycare is a city park where people have birthday parties, family reunions, and the city has festivals and celebrations. This was just put up at the city park. There's going to be a big brat fest. It has a large play area, and many families bring their children to play during the day. It also has 30 garden plots, and these gardeners drive to their plots across the day for 6 months. The park also hosts a Tai Chi class that meets twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday, and the participants are driving to the class. All of this park and daycare activity is bringing large numbers of cars and people
Thank
to
you.
the end of Fairchild.
Thank you. Yep. Welcome. Please state your name and city you're from. Welcome.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Raúl Serafín y soy mexicano
Good afternoon. My name is Raul Serafin, and I'm
y
Mexican.
vivo en Iowa City.
I live in Iowa City.
Pues la cuestión de este tema es que yo tengo poquito que llegué aquí a Iowa City y vengo, me salí de Florida porque en Florida salió una ley que según nos iban a detener, que nos iban a deportar.
The question of this, what we're talking about tonight, well, I recently arrived to Iowa City. I left Florida because of the law, that they're going to detain us.
Entonces tuvimos que abandonar nuestras viviendas allá donde laborábamos.
So we had to leave our homes in Florida.
Y pues aquí yo llegué a este estado, pero tengo que empezar de nuevo.
I arrived in this state, but I had to start all over.
La cuestión es de que no contamos con los requisitos para poder agarrar una vivienda, un alquiler o una renta.
The problem is we don't have the papers or the requisitos, like the requirements to get an apartment or rent.
Y el problema es que nos queda lejos de donde laboramos, nos queda lejos para ir a trabajar.
Also, it's far away from where we have to work.
Y pues la cuestión es pedir que haya una oportunidad de vivienda cerca de nuestra labor.
And if there is an opportunity for to live near our work,
Y que si podemos rentar un apartamento o algo, pues que los precios sean accesibles.
and if we could rent an apartment, that the prices would be reasonable or accessible.
Y también por el transporte le batalla uno, tanto las mujeres como los hombres que no tienen que moverse.
Also, the transportation is really hard for men and for women, for all of us, to get where we need to go.
Sería todo.
Okay.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and city you're from.
Buenas tardes, señores. ¿Cómo están?
Good evening. How are you?
Mi nombre es Alexander Giraldo.
My name is Alexander Hilaro.
Soy de Colombia.
I'm from Colombia.
La cuestión de esta reunión es venir a que ustedes nos puedan colaborar para poder salir adelante en este país.
What we want in the meeting, maybe of this meeting, is that you can collaborate with us so that we can get ahead. We left our countries.
A nosotros nos queda muy complicado, como dice el compañero, poder vivir, tener un alquiler en una vivienda, pues porque nos piden muchos documentos que no tenemos para poder tener a alguien en donde estar acá.
It's very difficult, like the other gentleman said, it's very difficult for us to find a place to rent, a place to live, because of the requirements that they ask for.
Nosotros venimos también aquí a aportar nuestro granito de arena en este país, con nuestro trabajo, con lo que podemos hacer acá en este país para poder que este país sea mucho mejor.
We come to this country, this place to, get ahead, to work, and we also want to make this place a better place.
Entonces, pues, asimismo, nosotros también, pues, que nos puedan colaborar para poder nosotros también salir adelante también con una vivienda o un permiso de trabajo para poder nosotros salir adelante también, como
So
cualquier
you,
persona.
could collaborate with us so that we can get ahead, that we can find a place to live, a work permit, so that we can all be well.
Les agradezco mucho por su colaboración y tengan una buena tarde.
I really appreciate your time, your collaboration, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Please state your name and city you're from.
My name's Andy Barnett. I'm from Iowa City. I actually live in Goosetown. I'm all for affordable housing, but there's not that many old houses left in this town. And we're going to let them get torn down by one or two gentlemen that want to, basically they're being greedy. I mean, they're going to take one place down. Why can't we just fix these houses up? I don't plan on moving this area from the area, and I don't understand why first of all, I didn't even know anything until this lady knocked on my door telling me they're going to tear these houses down and build whatever. I don't even know, so maybe you can elaborate what we're going to build in these places, which would be at least 2 to 3 unit places. So if they're getting $1,000 a month for this house that's there, they're going to end up getting $3,000 a month for these big lots, and I don't understand why we can't really think about this before we go ahead and just allow this to happen. I love the neighborhood, and there's not that, like I said, there's not that many old houses, and if you drive around anywhere in the Goosetown towards downtown north side, you can see these just random duplexes built that look like shit there, excuse my language, but they don't belong. And so I'm trying to support all of these Goosetown people with, let's just figure out a way to maybe fix these houses up and make them affordable for people to buy with some grants or whatever we got to do that. So I'm just, whatever I can do to support the Goosetown and to stop this would be great. I'm all about affordable housing, so don't take that wrong. It's not about that. This is about keeping the structure of what Goosetown really is. There's not that many small little cool houses.
Please sign in.
I left my sticker.
Oh, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please state your name and city you're from.
Sticker situation is a little complicated.
You can throw the entire sticker in there.
Okay, here we go. My name is Martha Norbeck. I live on the east side of Iowa City. I am a local architect, specifically specializing in green architecture. So one of the things that I enjoy about city council meetings is you get to hear about all sorts of things that may or may not directly pertain to the topic at hand. So I want to kind of circle things back. I think these issues being raised are very valid, but they aren't really the question at hand. The question at hand is related to zoning. Zoning is a crude tool. It is not intended to provide funding support. It's not intended to dictate who buys properties. It is a crude tool that has some control over development. There's nothing about the zoning proposals that will change the current circumstance. The current circumstance is that some houses have been torn down in Goosetown, which is very sad for me as someone who likes older homes. But that's happening now. That's happening under the current rules. It's not like we're going to pass the zoning and there's going to be some rash change of the rules in leading to tearing down all the houses in Goosetown. I want to commend the staff who did an amazing job. So if you can remember back to when they presented to you, they were showing maps of the entire community. This is affecting the entire community. It's not just these older neighborhoods. There's a lot of developments that have gone up on large lots where we could be making better use of that land. And also providing a supplemental income to people who already own those properties. And we can also be building more units per subdivision. We keep doing these single-family home subdivisions, which actually decreases the opportunity for affordable housing. So when you zoom out and look at the entire community and remember back to that presentation by staff, this is going to have a small impact on the existing neighborhoods. There probably are measures you could adopt to expand the university impact zone, but that's a different topic. That is not the topic in front of you. The topic in front of you is affecting the entire community of Iowa City. And the assumption that owning a home is somehow superior than renting ignores the fact that coming up with a down payment with 8% interest is a very untenable option for many, many people. I believe Mandy is running for council with the concept that she's been working for 20 years and still can't afford a down payment because she has a family to support. So these issues of affordable housing are real, and being a renter does not necessarily make you lesser than, and being a property owner doesn't make you better.
Welcome.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es María Arriaga.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Agriega.
Venimos representando a Escucha Mi Voz.
Here with Escucha Mi Voz.
Porque queremos que ustedes nos apoyen a nosotros.
We would like your support.
Porque es muy difícil para nosotros poder sacar una vivienda a nuestro nombre.
It's really hard for us to rent a place with our
Para
own name.
buscar aquí una credencial para nosotros.
Find credit to get
Todo
an
es muy
apartment.
difícil para nosotros.
All of this is very
Y nosotros
difficult.
queremos que ustedes nos echen la mano.
We would like your help.
Y también para los buses que batallamos.
Also the buses, it's difficult.
Más con los niños que en vez no podemos porque no manejamos o por no dinero, porque el único que puede trabajar es el esposo de uno.
It's very hard also with our kids, with the buses, getting them where they need to go. Maybe just our husbands are working, we don't drive.
Y pues también queremos que a ver si pueden hacer un poquito baja, que nos den ayuda para poder pagar nuestra renta. Es muy difícil para nosotros
It's very hard for us to pay our rent.
ver muchas cosas y nosotros lo que queremos es que ustedes nos escuchen.
We would just want you to listen.
Y pues ahora sí que todos los que vinimos aquí y decimos las cosas, lo decimos de corazón.
All of us that come and talk to you, talk in front of you, we talk from our heart.
Y pues muchas gracias por escucharnos.
Thank you for listening.
Y esperemos en Dios que ustedes nos puedan escuchar.
We hope and pray to God that you can hear us.
Y pues que pasen una bonita tarde.
And I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that want to address this topic?
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good evening to everyone.
Mi nombre es Teresa.
My name is Teresa.
Bueno, es muy difícil para nosotros como migrantes que venimos a buscar una vida estable para nuestros hijos.
It's really hard for us as immigrants to find a place to live with our children.
Y aquí que nos pidan papeles para recoger una vivienda.
They ask for papers to get a place.
Yo estuve en Casa Católica y me ayudaron mucho.
I was at the Catholic Worker, they helped me.
Pero pues es muy difícil que te separen de los hijos.
It's very hard to be away from your kids.
Y uno no es uno mala persona, uno es todo, o sea, uno como padre busca uno estabilidad para los hijos y nosotros lo que buscamos es una mejor vida para nuestros hijos, pero se nos cierran las puertas por no tener seguro.
As parents, we look for the best for our children, but it's really hard when they close the doors on us because we don't have papers.
Para poder rentar una casa, un apartamento, nos piden seguro y pues uno no lo tiene uno.
To rent houses or apartments, they ask for a social security number. We don't have this.
Y pues no somos malas personas todos los migrantes, simplemente queremos estabilidad para nuestros hijos.
We are not all bad, all the immigrants. We just want stability for our children.
Y si hay oportunidad de ustedes que ayuden a los migrantes, nosotros trataremos de apoyarlos a ustedes y ustedes a nosotros, y yo siento que es una unión entre mexicanos, migrantes, lo que sea. Ustedes nos necesitan y nosotros los necesitamos para tener nuestros hijos estables.
If there would be an opportunity for you to help us, that would be great. We can help you, you can help us. Immigrants, Mexicans, all immigrants, we also can help you. We just want a stable place for our kids.
Y como madre soltera, yo siento que si ustedes ayudan a cualquier persona de migrante, está muy bien.
As a single mother, I think it would be great if you would help any immigrant.
Nosotros no buscamos otra cosa, sino simplemente que nuestros hijos estén seguros y estables.
We're not looking for anything else. We just want our kids to be safe and stable.
Y pues yo siento que se nos cierran las puertas para apartamento. Bueno, ¿de qué sirve que sepamos manejar si no tenemos auto?
They close the doors on a lot of us. If we can't get apartments without papers, what does it matter to drive if we can't have a driver's license?
Y el bus es gratis, yo lo sé, pero el bus no pasa a nuestro horario de trabajo.
I know that the bus is free, but the bus does not come when we have to go to work.
Pues si nos van a ayudar, pues espero que así sea. Por mí y por los demás, pues por eso estamos aquí, porque queremos que escuchen nuestra voz.
We hope that you would help us, for myself, for all of us that are here, and that you would hear our voice.
Y pues muchas gracias.
And thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Dave Goodner, a co-director of Escucha Voz, Iowa. I want to start by thanking the City of Iowa City and its longtime nonprofit partners for your commitment to affordable, supportive housing. We are better off as a community today because of your work, and the progress we will make together tomorrow will only build on the strong foundation you have already helped lay. High-density rezoning of Iowa City's single-family neighborhoods is the only effective way to scale up our supply of affordable housing to meet the acute crisis that we're in. That's because multifamily neighborhoods are the only places Black and brown workers can afford to live, but 80% of the city they work in is zoned out of reach for them. For more information on racial segregation in Iowa City, I encourage the city and neighborhood associations to read our report attached in the public record, Organizational Comments to the Pro-Housing Grant Application. Single-family zoning is a kind of citywide racially restrictive neighborhood covenant. But today I want to talk to you from the perspective of someone who was born and raised on the Southeast Side. I've spent the last 42 years watching tragedy slowly unfold as historic homes downtown were bulldozed and replaced by apartment buildings, one after another, over and over again. I say this because no one is more sympathetic to historic preservation or the concerns of the neighborhood associations than I am. Emily and I started the Catholic Worker Community Land Trust in order to preserve historic Victorian homes and transform who gets to live in them. Nationwide, civil rights experts and affordable housing advocates are trying to remove all of the same barriers to increase the supply of affordable housing. And nationwide, they are met with the same opposition from the same single-family neighborhood associations. We have to be honest with ourselves and put the proposals before the council tonight in the proper context. Not just affordable housing, but the framework of fair, just, and equitable housing that opens up the city to the workers who keep it running. Instead of standing in the way of what must be done, we should support what the city is trying to do and demand both the government and the developers put real money on the line to guarantee the affordable housing they promise. Two-family zoning is the missing middle we need and the stepping stone we have to get to where we want to go. If we lose sight of that, then we only care about affordable housing if it's on the south side and down by the river, just like we always have, and nothing has really changed since Iowa City was first settled in 1839. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone that has shared today. Okay, and this will be our last speaker. Yes, welcome.
Buenas noches.
Welcome.
Good night or good evening.
Mi nombre es Héctor Sabino Manzor, soy de Nicaragua.
My name Hector. I'm from Nicaragua.
Esta noche he venido pues a exponer un caso que no es una historia, sino que es algo real que nosotros hemos vivido últimamente en estos meses.
Today I come before you to not tell you a story, but to tell you about something that's very real that we live today.
Nosotros llegamos a este país huyendo de nuestras autoridades de allá, ¿verdad?
We came fleeing our country, getting away from the authority from there,
Buscando una nueva esperanza pues de vida aquí.
looking for a new hope, a new life.
Llegamos a rentar allí a unas trailers que se llaman 28 Navajo Trail,
We went to rent over some trailers, Navajo Drive,
pagando $300 de renta, más los biles se los hacían a $400.
paying $300 a month plus the bills, $400 a month.
Viviendo allí con ratas, con toda clase de bichos que hay allí, cucarachas, hay chinches.
Living with rats,
Tiemp-
cockroaches, bed bugs.
En tiempo de nieve, cuando cae la nieve, pues tenemos que agarrar nieve para cocerla en una perola para poder hacer nuestras necesidades porque todo se frisa.
In the winter, the pipes freeze. We have to get snow outside in a bucket to do our needs. And
Pues allí lo que se vive pues es algo que eso ya no sirve, pues yo no sé por qué está funcionando todavía. Ustedes como autoridades de Iowa hubieran de poner la mano en eso.
these places don't work. They're not appropriate. I think you should do something, or you could do something about this.
Y solo por ser nicaragüense, la manager de las trailers no permitía que parquearan un vehículo afuera, no permitía que llegaran amistades de uno o familiares, porque llamaba a las patrullas y los echaba a la policía, los discriminaba de cualquier forma.
The owners, they don't allow us to park outside, or they don't allow us to have family or friends over. They'll call the police.
Incluso los mandó a echar de ahí, los echó. Actualmente estoy viviendo en mi carro, esa es mi casa, ahí duermo.
Actually, I was kicked out of there. I'm living in my car right now. That's my home.
Porque nosotros aquí no tenemos documentos, cómo ir a agarrar un apartamento, porque si ya los piden $4,000 o tenemos que tener documentos para poder agarrar un apartamento y no lo tenemos.
We don't have papers to get an apartment. They ask a lot of money, $4,000.
Entonces nosotros lo que les pedimos a las autoridades de Iowa es que traten de buscar cómo hacer viviendas para que nosotros pues rentemos cómodamente, ¿me entiendes?
So what we're asking you all is to try to find places that are accessible for us to live.
Sí, eso es lo que les pedimos, que pues los ayuden, pues de todas maneras pues siempre pues vamos a pagar, ¿va? Pero que no sea de que vamos a ir a dar un chingo de plata, cosa que no la tenemos ni tenemos documentos como siempre se lo piden a uno aquí.
That's what we're asking, and we're willing to pay. We just need a more reasonable price.
Y no solo soy yo, vivimos como unos, ahí en esas trailers nicaragüenses como unos 80 que siempre se quedaron unos allí porque ¿para dónde vamos a coger? Algunos se quedaron viviendo siempre en esa misma situación con cucarachas, ratones, chinches y de todo hay allí.
Not just me. There's a lot of Nicaraguans living in these kinds of situations that they're still there with cockroaches, bed bugs.
Y yo creo que para la comunidad de Iowa pues eso está mal visto que esté esas trailers funcionando allí, habiendo tanta cochinada pues.
I think it would be good to go check it out, what the conditions are.
Trailers que inclusamente pues están en el abandono y siempre están funcionando.
We have trailers that have been abandoned and they're still functioning.
Eso es todo pues lo que yo les pido, pues de que los echen la mano, que los apoyen.
That's all
Y-
that I'm asking, is that you would support us and help us.
Y muchas gracias. Pasen buenas noches.
And thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I did close public comment, but if someone raised their hand at the beginning, I will allow them to come at this time. Otherwise, I'm going to close public comment. So you raise your hand at the beginning, then I will allow that. And who all raised their hand at the beginning that have not spoken? We have 3 that we're gonna, no, we want to hear from you, but we have 3 that we're gonna hear from at this time. Welcome.
My name is Helen Burford, and I live at 528 East College Street in the College Green neighborhood. And as you know, the College Green neighborhood is already very diverse, including my neighbors, who Catholic Workers House, and numerous rentals accepting vouchers or low-income households. And all I want to say is for the future of our neighborhood, that I ask you to amend the proposed zoning changes to only allow additional duplexes that are committed to affordable housing provided by nonprofit entities. As evidenced by the Catholic Workers House, nonprofits focused on providing affordable housing provide stability to a neighborhood. College Green is already densely populated with few single-family residences remaining. I hope you take into consideration the efforts which this neighborhood has made to be inclusive and choose to amend the zoning proposal you're reviewing to be truly committed to affordable housing.
Thank you. And please state the city you're from and place your name on this sign-in sheet, please. Will you? Oh, did you? You already wrote it? Oh, great. I didn't notice that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Carlson from Iowa City, and I'm just going to stick.
Welcome.
Welcome. You know, I think we are all here for the same purpose tonight. We are all concerned about affordable housing. You up on the stage have control over what the city does to help us, we people out here who are speaking to you. But we are all concerned about affordable housing, and we all have our problems in dealing with living in our various houses in our various areas. I have lived in my house for 40 years. I have listened to a lot of affordable housing ideas. I read the proposal that the staff made, and it sounds like rehashed things that I have heard for 40 years that have not worked very well. Basically, we attempt to make developers who are in business for profit bear a large amount of the cost of providing affordable housing. It has not worked very well in the past. I do not think it will ever work very well. I think it's time to look outside the box. I commend Councilor Thomas for the suggestion of trying duplexes in the Universe City area where one unit is market valued and the other one is a low rent thing that nonprofits can use. Somehow or another, we need to open the door so that nonprofits can get in and provide the affordable housing that our city needs on a continuing basis and not have it change every 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll bring up our last speaker at this time. Yep. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Kelsey Patrick Free. I live in Iowa City. I want to share with you that when I moved back to the area 11 years ago, I got a job offer in the first week of August, and I knew that was going to be a problem. We wanted to rent in Iowa City for a while. We wanted to try to get a 3-bedroom for our family of 4. We were not able to find anything. We wound up in a 2-bedroom in Coralville that I was allergic to. It was not a great year. When we bought our house, we bought in the South District. And in the South District, we have a lot of renters. We have renters who have been in their houses for longer than I have owned my house, for longer than a decade. They're our neighbors, they're our friends, they're involved, they're wonderful people. Iowa City has been economically segregated since founding. I've seen a lot of progress, But this is the first time I've seen a systemic solution that finds a way to make it possible on an infill basis to make sure that it is possible to build all housing types throughout the city. So I'm urging you to vote in favor of that and to finally get it so that people who get job offers in the first week of August can find somewhere to live in Iowa City. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I did, I don't know how long this hand has been raised online, so I will allow this one hand that is raised online, which is Mary Ann Dennis. Welcome, and then we will go into council deliberations.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Mary Ann Dennis. I live in Iowa City, and I really believe that your staff has provided all of the information that you need to make an informed decision to pass this rezoning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, we are going to close the public opportunity to speak and going to go into council deliberations.
Well, perhaps I'll start since I'm not sure how many here in the audience are familiar with a little bit of the background with where we are at this moment. We, at our last meeting 2 weeks ago, asked for a deferral on this second vote, with the idea being that we would try to seek ways to advance the goal of increasing the supply of income-restricted affordable housing as a part of this amendment, in addition to increasing housing supply and choice. So that was the goal there, which I'm hearing tonight is certainly a concern. As Nancy mentioned, we're all here, among other things, speaking to the issue of affordable housing. And what I was particularly interested in terms of this amendment was how can we create an opportunity with this amendment to address the supply of income-restricted affordable housing, which is a much higher standard for affordable housing. During these discussions, the word affordable housing has been used a lot, but it's never been precisely defined. And it's that income-restricted affordable housing which I think speaks to those who are truly in need of housing which they can afford. So that was 2 weeks ago, and over the last 2 weeks, there have been a lot of discussions in the neighborhood, and the neighborhoods within that university impact area. That would include areas of the Bowery, College Green, Goosetown, Northside, Miller Orchard, and portions of Longfellow and Manville Heights. So it's basically the center of town, which I'm hearing many of the people who spoke tonight spoke about wanting to live in the center. How do we get that done? That's a challenging assignment, so to speak. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about that, and what I would like to ask the council to consider is that we establish on a voluntary basis a density bonus in what we refer to as the university impact area. The density bonus would apply to the, and sorry for the technical language here, would apply to the residential single-family 5 zones, the RS5, and the residential single-family 8 zones, RS8. In those areas, any additional duplexes, other than at the block corners, shall have one income-restricted affordable unit. So briefly, I'd like to try to describe what I kind of envision with the current amendment and how I could envision the proposed revision playing out. I view the current proposal essentially incentivizes for-profit investors in the university impact area to replace inexpensive existing housing with higher density duplexes charging higher rents. Neighborhoods in that process will lose existing inexpensive homes and gain little, if any, income-restricted affordable housing for the people who need it most. I would argue that this proposal is inconsistent with the 2008 Central District's Plan goals of promoting housing affordability and neighborhood stability. How would the proposed revision play out? I would argue that it incentivizes nonprofit affordable housing providers to produce income-restricted affordable housing while taking into account the unique housing market conditions in the university impact area. The revision would be consistent with the Central District's plan regarding housing and quality of life goals by providing affordable housing opportunities while achieving a healthy demographic diversity. So the proposal that I'm suggesting, as I said, is limited to the university impact area. The rest of Iowa City, there would be no change to the proposed amendment. So the only area affected by this proposal would be that area of the university impact area. And its purpose, as I said, is to try through the density bonus. What we're doing here is acknowledging that there is an increase in density that the amendment is providing, and we'd like to see some portion of that density bonus or density increase applied to the creation of income-restricted affordable housing. And we've seen some, in addition to the testimony tonight, some letters in support the council has of this idea, which in some ways is, I think, in the spirit of the university program, which also was income restricted and provided some opportunities for families who might otherwise not be able to live in the core of Iowa City. There was a recent letter in the late handouts from Elise Slaughter, who spoke to this, I thought, quite beautifully. So in my view, this is really a relatively minor change. Most of the proposal remains as it is now, but it attempts to acknowledge the special conditions that have applied within the center of town, the university impact area, for decades. And it attempts to address the pressures there, the character of the neighborhoods, and the need for creating affordable income-restricted housing in an area where it makes, in some ways, the most sense because it's central to the city. You have better transit, more access to job opportunities and destinations. So a low-income household can perhaps, not require a car for every adult resident or member of a household, and live more within one's means in that regard. So that's the idea that developed over the last 2 weeks and was discussed with affordable housing providers as well as advocates. I spoke with Jerry Anthony, who is a professor of urban planning, public policy at the University of Iowa. And there was a kind of a consistent concern about how can we create opportunities in the center of Iowa City through this kind of strategy. So the last 2 weeks have been very useful to this effort in trying to articulate that goal. And so in terms of process, this would entail would be voting no on the current proposal and sending it back to P&Z and then eventually coming back to council with that amendment in mind. So thank you.
Just a clarification, are you asking the council to say no today then?
The sooner we say no, the sooner it can go back to P&Z with this, what I consider to be a relatively minor change, but a positive change for the reasons I described. Yeah.
I have a lot jumbling around in my head, so I'm just going to leap in, and this may be almost like in bullet points and kind of all over, so forgive me in advance. I applaud the efforts and the thinking that you have done, John, but I think that Martha Norbeck actually really pointed out a very, very important piece Zoning doesn't say who develops the land. It just doesn't. Additionally, and granted, I don't live in the core, but I do live near duplexes, and I live in the south side, southeast side, and I live among a lot of renters. I live among a lot of group homes, and we all get along, and the character of their neighborhood is actually wonderful for its variety. So I actually will go out on my own limb to say that I do not believe that duplexes are high density. What I am struck by is the number of families who came here tonight to ask for better housing. And honestly, it is true. Student housing chunked up so that individuals live in a particular way and at a particular time in their lives is not the same as the need for families to live. Duplexes do increase that opportunity. So I am voting yes for this. I go back to a couple of core truths. I went back. I reread the Affordable Housing Steering Committee that was convened among multiple stakeholders and experts to talk about what needs to happen in the city. And there's a summary of it. It says, increase the allowable number and type of dwelling unit in single-family zoning districts by right in more locations. Examples include ADUs, duplexes, and lot zero line structures. Increase the allowable number of bedrooms in duplex and zero lot line structures in single-family zoning districts outside of the university impact area. Facilitate multifamily development by purchasing land to be developed. Conduct a city-initiated rezoning to allow multifamily housing or mixed use in areas supported by the comprehensive plan. It goes on. These are all things that are contained within staff's recommendations. And I recognize this is not perfect, and I would also put the caveat out to everyone who is listening. This is not the solution. It is part of a toolkit. Affordable housing is incredibly difficult. It is a national crisis, and it is a crisis here at home. But if we keep looking to say, how can we make this just this little bit better, so let's strike down the whole, then we are in fact where we've been for 40 years. These things haven't been put into place. We've talked about them, and they've never passed. So I do believe that this is what we need to do. We are government. It is incremental. We are working on multiple facets, but this is one important piece that we need. And I appreciate people who love their neighborhood. But I guarantee you, your neighborhood will still be wonderful. I was so struck by the woman who was speaking about living near the daycare center and the park. And then there was another speaker directly before or directly after who was talking about having children of different ages and how wonderful it would be for her to live, I believe, in the triplex, to be one of those families that could live in a triplex that had access to that. So I just want to mention also Catholic Worker House had a very comprehensive letter. I do recommend folks read that. I appreciate Martha Norbeck's comments. The Affordable Housing Coalition of Johnson County has also weighed in on this, and so they too are supporting these amendments. It is not going to solve everything, but I do believe it is not going to turn the north side to hell in a handbasket. There's a comprehensive plan in place that allows only for the types of development that is in character of the neighborhood. It may be more dense than you want, but putting in different types of housing that could actually allow families to get in there is incredibly important. And so I will be voting for this.
Do we have a staff opinion or input on John's proposed amendment?
I think the late handout from your last meeting is still relevant in addressing that. And in short, I think if you were to put an income restriction on one half of a duplex, you're effectively not going to get any duplexes built. I think if the intention is to increase income-restricted permanent affordable housing, that's more of a budget matter than a zoning matter.
The other thing I would add is I believe when they were writing their memo, the understanding was that there was going to be a motion to amend this evening to make the changes that Councilor Thomas has envisioned. I understood his request now to be that you vote no for the entire thing. I don't think that was anticipated by staff. This is a 33, I believe, page bill with changes in paragraphs A through double F inclusive. There are a lot of things in this bill that I think, in this ordinance amendment that I think staff would like to see move forward. I think this is one important but certainly not all-encompassing topic within that, and so I suspect I would be speaking safely on behalf of staff, saying that they would not prefer to have to go back and start from scratch.
I appreciate everyone coming and speaking tonight. The engagement that we have here on this topic is phenomenal, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I really like hearing from faces and voices who we've seen before, as well as those who were just meeting tonight. I think what's really important to remember is that what we're talking about are very modest changes. What we're talking about are incremental, small changes to enable a small piece of this very complex, nuanced problem, which is the lack of supply of housing and the lack of flexibility in the types of housing in particular areas where we don't have the capacity, we don't currently have the rules that would enable that kind of supply or that kind of flexibility. We will have a comprehensive plan review that I hope will come forward with even bolder, less incremental, less modest recommendations for inclusive zoning in our community. But the idea that tonight we would stop the process, send it back to planning and zoning, and start this all over again feels to me like the intent is to ensure that the change can't happen. And that may not be your intent, Councilor Thomas, but it flies in the face of something that I think we've committed to, which is working urgently on equity. And I hope everyone has seen the really, I always go back to that really basic graphic of like 3 people who are trying to look over a fence, right? And they're different sizes or abilities, and people need different levels of numbers of boxes or numbers of stairs to be able to see over the fence. And our obligation and our commitment to equity is to balance a lot of complicated, difficult things and say, hey, we have said housing is a human right. We have said affordable housing and the availability of housing for people to live in whatever neighborhood they wish to live in is fundamental in our evaluation of what is equitable in this community. So I really think what that means is we have to be willing to prioritize those who don't have the opportunity for a home or don't have the opportunity for a home in a particular neighborhood. We have to prioritize that over other very valid concerns about the potential future character changes of a neighborhood. I don't know that I can make it any plainer than that, but I really think that we have to be willing to take a small incremental step to increase supply and flexibility in housing types throughout the entire community. So I do support the amendment still.
Thank you. I probably won't speak as long because I think Councilor Burgess and Councilor Alter have captured many of the things that I've been thinking, and just to kind of put my own emphasis on that. I do think this is a time that the city has been working on this for a long time, so this hasn't been something that has come up in just a short amount of time. And maybe it's because I didn't get to do a lot of fishing this summer, but I'm kind of missing it. But there does come a time when you have to fish or cut bait, and I think it's time to move forward on this. Now that said, I think Councilor Thomas raises some interesting ideas that we can deal with on their own. So it's not an either or, but a yes and, which is another one of Councilor Alter's favorite phrases, and so I'm going to steal that shamelessly. But yes, I too will be voting in support of this because I think it is at the end of the day an important step forward, and it is a modest step forward. I mean, it's we'll be looking at stuff in the comprehensive plan next year, which I think excited to look at that and to dig into bigger and hopefully more impactful things.
I just got a question for Eric. One of the reasons why I was so supportive of moving us forward with the deferral was to kind of explore and expand council's knowledge of the whole situation with bonuses. I think it's valuable for us to do so and to know our ability to do that either now or potentially in the future. My question that relates to that is, I don't know if this is something that we would do now, but it is just something that popped into my head, as we're talking about, doing these types of voluntary arrangements, as well as, the situation that we're dealing with housing choice vouchers. With your understanding of, the passage of SF 252, that was the housing choice voucher ban, the changes to those code, do you think that would preclude council from either now or in the future from entering into a voluntary agreement for a bonus to density, but require that one of those units or something like that, make sure that they don't discriminate based on, the usage of a housing choice voucher?
I'd have to look at the language of that statute again, but as a general matter, anytime you've got a voluntary agreement by which property owners or landlords, to use your example, are getting something in exchange for something, in agreement not to discriminate against those who are using housing choice vouchers in your example, those are usually quite defensible. The only caveat I'll add to that, because I'm a lawyer and I have to say it depends as part of my job description, is if it is such that one is compelled really, if a property owner has no practical choice but to accept our offer, and I'm not hearing that from what you're describing.
No, yeah, and I guess just for the even more clarity, I have the bill pulled up in front of me now. It says a city shall not adopt or enforce an ordinance or regulation that prohibits an owner, lessor, sublessor, managing agent, or other person having the right to lease, sublease, or rent out a dwelling unit from refusing to lease or rent out the dwelling unit to a person because of the person's use of a federal choice voucher issued by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. And then it, of course, gets rid of it. With the clarification on that language, would you still say it's probably okay?
Yes, if I understand your question, could the city offer an incentive to property owners so in exchange for them agreeing not to discriminate? I think the answer is yes. The city could do that.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to go with that for right now. I have a lot of thoughts that I still need to organize, so if someone else wants to talk.
I'll take my turn. This has been a difficult one because we've been talking about affordable housing for many, many years now and trying to come up with solutions to that. And somebody had mentioned the University program. That started many years ago, but found to be, as they built these single-family homes, they got more and more expensive. So then we broadened out to the South District program, which has provided home ownership for folks. They've been able to move from rental to home ownership, which is really good. And I'd like to see that broadened out to the entire city, have those types of programs throughout the city. And I do appreciate the time and the effort the staff put into this document, but I still have the question, I think Councilor Thomas mentioned that too. I mean, how can we truly create a supply of, as he termed it, income restricted rather than affordable, but call it income restricted? These folks that we heard these stories from, I appreciate you coming and speaking. It's not easy to come and speak before the council. They're very heartwarming stories, but how indeed can we help you? And I don't know that, I'm just not really reading into this, as many pages as there are into it. And somebody mentioned it's the fundamental right of persons to have housing and that they should be able to live where they want to live. But how do we do that? But I think that with Councilor Thomas's proposal to amend it, I think that gives a better idea of where we could indeed have this housing developed, which I don't read into the rest of the document. And the Goosetown folks, I appreciate your comments. We've seen that happen. We saw a single-family home demolished, and a gigantic home that's 5-bedroom, 3-bath, I think, just huge in the middle of an older neighborhood. So it is happening, and I think with this plan, it would maybe perhaps continue to happen. So I would go along with including having P&Z take a look at Councilor Thomas's proposal for the amendment, so that hopefully we could narrow it down a little bit and actually create some areas for income restricted, not affordable, I'm going to say income restricted housing.
I think that leaves me before you.
Your choice.
Yeah. So, this is a very difficult question before us for a lot of different reasons. And, the more and more I've thought about this, the more and more I've come to terms with the fact that my comments are not going to be organized. So a few things that I'm personally thinking about is this whole concept of, what can affordable housing look like in the community? And, a related question of, if new development in our community can be affordable to a lot of the folks that are in the room. That is a real struggle, I think, that we deal with. I think that supply does have an effect on the market and can affect housing rates. But I think that the idea that a brand new duplex is going to be something that is, especially in the current market with materials and labor, initially going to be affordable. I don't think anyone up here is disillusioned to the fact that that's probably not going to be the case. That being said, similar to my comments in the first hearing of this, I don't think that means that it's not worth trying to put a dent in our 3,000 plus deficit of housing units in this community. I think in many other ways, like my feelings would echo those of the other folks that are supporting this. Insofar as, I think this is better than nothing. And I think to the point where, the professionals that we have here who do this every day, and I don't necessarily think that means that they know everything, but they certainly know more than me, are saying that it's likely to not happen, coupled with the fact that, I was also caught off guard that in the discussion of this, amendment is really just a request to restart. I was not prepared for that. I mean, I was prepared for a hard discussion about, different amendments that we could look over and this whole concept of voluntary bonuses. But in terms of just doing an outright failure and sending it back to P&Z and that taking many months, ultimately I'm not sure what the impact on the market is going to be. I don't think it's going to be significant, but it's going to make something. I don't think as well, though, that the neighborhoods that are reasonably concerned about what's going on in town are going to be as much affected. I very much agree with Councilor Alter, who was, I believe it was Councilor Alter or Councilor Burgess, who was talking about how we have, comprehensive plans and some standards for how those things ought to look when they're developed. I think that those things can provide major checks for a lot of the concerns that we have. Additionally, a lot of the problems that folks are raising as concerns are social. if there's a problem with your neighbors, you should talk with them. I really do think that that's an important thing. If someone's parking inconsiderately, if they're leaving trash out or, something like that, have a conversation. It can be hard at times, and I recognize that. But I don't necessarily think people avoiding that conversation is worth not taking this step. I think it's a very complicated situation that we're dealing with. And like I said, I didn't think that my comments would be particularly organized. But I will say that I am glad that we've had this conversation, particularly about the amendment, and I'm thankful to the council for affording us the deferral to kind of look into the voluntary agreements for density bonuses, because I at least very much am glad that I know more about that, and hopefully that can inform the decisions that we make in the future as well. But when I'm weighing doing something that for one particular part of the community by our experts is not going to really do anything versus something that could do something that has safeguards in place and can be managed by social relationships, I'm inclined to vote for the latter, so I think I will be supporting today.
I want to thank everybody for coming out that spoke today. Really touching to see so many individuals love their city that much to come and spend some time to share their thoughts, no matter what side of the coin you're on. As I look at this, I go back to missing middle. That's something we've talked about when I first came on council. There are some people that championed that concept into my brain, and when I look at this, I see missing middle. I see, diverse housing choices. I see, design standards that would be really conducive to an existing neighborhood. I see really that equity and inclusion opportunity throughout the entire city. And so for me, because I'm not going to belabor the point, I think my colleagues that are signaling they're going to support this have really said a lot of things that I will share tonight. And so I will be supporting this. I do believe the yes and is still a possibility, because this is only one tool. I mean, we have a few tools in our toolbox. This will be adding to that. I long for the day that we have lots of affordable housing funds that we can spread throughout the city. There are individuals, we talked about the nonprofits, that would want to increase affordable housing, but there are, I believe, some private sector individuals that will come to the table to help us with this effort as well. So I will be supporting this tonight. And again, I do want to stress my appreciation for everybody coming out and sharing your voices with us tonight. If there is nothing else, we are going to have roll call at this time.
Taylor.
No.
Teague.
Yes.
Thomas.
No.
Alter.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2. Could I get a motion to accept correspondence?
So moved. Alter.
Second, Burgess.
Moved by Alter, seconded by Burgess. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 10A is Dodge Street School Speed Zone. Ordinance amending Title 9 entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 3 entitled Rules of the Road, Section 6 entitled Speed Restrictions, subsection C, entitled School Speed Zones, to modify the 20 miles per hour school speed zone for Dodge Street. This is first consideration. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved, Harmson.
Second, Taylor.
All right, and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Kent Ralston, Transportation Planner. As the mayor mentioned, the ordinance before you is to modify the existing 20-mile-per-hour school speed zone for Dodge Street, and this is adjacent to Mann Elementary School. We worked with the school's principal over the summer. Children are now entering and exiting the school primarily through the south end of the school rather than the north end of the school. What the result of that was us establishing a crosswalk at Fairchild Street rather than Church Street, which is where the existing school crossing was and still remains. But we added a new school crossing at Fairchild Street. It just so happens that the existing ordinance, the 20-mile-per-hour school speed zone, ends right about where the new crossing is. And what this would do is shift that 20-mile-per-hour zone about 200, 250 feet to the south so that folks are traveling at a slower speed through the newly established crosswalk. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't realize we had a missing counselor.
He's down in the lobby. Maybe I'll go retrieve him.
You go out with them?
Oh,
You're not his keeper?
I am not. Would anyone from the public like to address this topic? Seeing none, council discussion?
Seems like a good, straightforward, reasonable change. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yep.
That's how I get home every day, and I am very aware of the zone, and it makes a lot of sense to extend it.
Roll call, please.
Teague?
Yes?
Thomas?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 10B, Water Code Update, Lead Service Lines. Ordinance amending Title 16 entitled Public Works, Chapter 3, City Utilities, Article C, Potable Water Use and Service, Section 1, Definitions, and Section 3, Connection to Distribution Water Main. This is the second consideration. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved, Burgess.
Second, Alter.
Anyone from the public like to address this topic? Seeing no one in person or online, council discussion. Roll call, please.
Thomas?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Item 10C, approval of the Pro Housing Grant application. Resolution approving Iowa City's pathways to removing obstacles to housing. Grant application to help address barriers leading to acute scarcity of affordable housing in Iowa City. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved, Burgess.
Second, Dunn.
All right, moved by Burgess, seconded by Dunn. And welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Ann Russett with Neighborhood and Development Services. As the mayor mentioned, this item is related to staff's draft application to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for funds to help further affordable housing efforts in our community. Staff is requesting City Council's approval of submission of this application, as well as authorization to use $2.85 million in city funds to act as leverage for this application. A little bit of background on the grant itself. As I mentioned, this is through HUD. They have $85 million in competitive grant funding, and it's intended to help identify and remove barriers to affordable housing production and preservation. The minimum grant award would be $1 million, and the maximum is $10 million. HUD expects to give approximately 20 grants to 20 communities. The application consists of several topic areas. It outlines the barriers to affordable housing, the city's ongoing efforts to address those barriers, as well as proposed activities to further the city's efforts in addressing the housing crisis. HUD is really focused on funding communities that have already made progress towards addressing barriers. You'll see in our application that we've highlighted the zoning code text amendments that you were just discussing tonight, and we hope that by highlighting these reset efforts, it will help to make our application even more competitive, since it demonstrates the city's commitment to addressing housing issues not only through the provision of financial incentives, but also through supply-side reforms that address regulatory barriers to housing. In terms of the budget, we're requesting $5.6 million in grant funds, and again, $2.85 million will come from the city's funds to act as leverage to ensure a competitive application. In terms of the proposed activities, there are several. This slide outlines the planning-related activities, which include a parking study, which would be followed by revisions to the zoning code parking standards, a regional housing needs assessment or regional housing study, which would help to provide a holistic regional understanding of the area's housing market. Also, it could help fund our comprehensive plan update, specifically the land use and housing elements of the comprehensive plan. And following that comprehensive plan update, we're proposing city-initiated rezoning to higher density housing to align with the new land use policy vision outlined in the updated comprehensive plan. And lastly, we're proposing to study the feasibility for the Iowa City Housing Authority to create a housing development division. Other activities include an accessory dwelling unit incentive program. This would be a program providing funds for the construction of accessory dwelling units. Also funds for housing counseling and immediate housing assistance, which could go to help support those who are facing a potential to be unhoused. And an actual construction project is the last item, and this is connected to the feasibility study for creating a development arm of the Housing Authority, and the city would use these funds to jumpstart a pilot affordable housing development project. There's also administrative funds. This is about 10% of the total request that would go towards administration. During the public comment period, the city did receive one piece of correspondence from the Catholic Worker House, and based on these comments, staff plans to revise the application to better reflect ways the application will affirmatively further fair housing. In terms of the timeline and the next steps, the public meeting is tonight. The end of the comment period is also tonight, and the application is due October 30th. And the estimated start date, should we receive funding, it'd be early 2024. And that concludes my presentation.
Great. Ask questions, sure.
Hi. I actually did read the response from staff that addressed some of the concerns from the Catholic Worker House. Could you just hit some of the highlights just for helping refresh my memory?
Yeah, I think they had several concerns, and I think what we're committed to changing in our application is more discussion on how this grant application and how the city, through the comprehensive planning process, through housing counseling, through housing assistance, could help directly impact specific populations like immigrants and refugees. And also, there's language that we can add that kind of speaks to educational points as part of the funding. If we receive funding, we can use some of that funds to educate the community on options that they have, whether it's the housing counseling that would become available or immediate assistance that would also be opportunities through the grant. And just with the comprehensive plan update, we really do want an inclusive outreach process. We need to identify what that looks like. But as part of that process, we will need to identify groups that we need to coordinate with, like the Catholic Worker House and others that have connections to those specific populations in our community.
Was there any discussion, and I know this awkward question, some of the logic or some of the recommendations had to do with increasing funding, and I also know that some of that's not possible based on where money is, the current pots that they're in, like dedicated to the riverfront crossings, for example. But was there any discussion at all about being able to up that amount at all from the city's thing?
Yeah, increase the leverage. We could certainly request more money. There's not a minimum amount of match that needs to be provided, but I think if we did increase the request, we'd want to increase that leverage. I don't know if...
I guess that was part of what I was kind of getting at, and I'm not...
Jeff, if you could speak to that.
I'm fishing, I'm not angling.
Yeah, it's one of those balancing acts. You know, the grant amount is fairly small when you think it's a nationwide grant. There's only 20 cities, so it's a bit of a balancing act. You want to be aggressive and show your intent that you're committed to making meaningful change, but you also have to recognize that there's going to be, what'd you say, 20 expected awards. So there's going to be roughly 19 others competing for this $80+ million. So it's really just trying to find that balance. If we're fortunate enough to be selected and we feel like we can add additional local dollars to make projects even better, we certainly obviously would have that ability to do so at that time. Right now, it's just finding what we think is that balance on what will make a competitive application.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, and I appreciate that that door's left open for should we win it. Thank you.
No other questions. Thank you. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your hand. And we see one person in the audience.
Page is full. Ellen McCabe, Iowa City, Housing Trust Fund of Johnson County. I'm here to support the Pathways to Removing Obstacles to Housing proposal. As someone in the literal affordable housing trench, I assure you that we need to increase local development capacity for affordable housing projects. In addition, a regional housing study to define the critical shortage of housing that is affordable is needed. The problem is referred to as a regional problem. However, most of the solutions are being developed within Iowa City. In the past 2 years, for example, the Trust Fund has funded 12 projects in Iowa City and 1 in Coralville and 1 in North Liberty. That's your visual. Coralville and North Liberty have committed American Rescue Plan dollars totaling $600,000 to affordable housing. That's admirable. However, a regional housing study will help illuminate what is needed and where it is needed to support community and economic development throughout the region. I applaud the City of Iowa City for taking the lead on this overdue housing study. And I can't believe the room's not filled with people talking about this proposal. Moving the needle. This is where the work is going to be. So thank you. Thank you for your support of the Trust Fund. Thank you for all you're doing to make housing more affordable.
Great. Anyone else like to address this topic?
I had to laugh because I had a similar thought, Ellen.
Yes. Seeing no one in person or online, council discussion.
I realize this was maybe a staff question, sorry. The regionality of this, of that study that is the component of that, is that intended to cover the Iowa City Housing Authority area? I wasn't entirely sure on that.
I don't know if we have a specific boundary identified, but it would include North Liberty, Coralville, Tiffin, some of these surrounding communities. It may include Johnson County as a whole.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other discussion by council? I think it's a great opportunity and hope we get the funding to do this.
Yeah, thank you for putting this together. And I think kind of to your point, like this is like just, it speaks so well, and hopefully the public will recognize, all the different people and all the different members of council, city staff, members of other organizations that are attacking this problem from so many different angles. And so this is like, it couldn't have come up probably on a more appropriate night.
I guess I'd just say one other thing, Mayor, about the regionality of it, knowing that that housing study is just one piece, but I think this is a great opportunity for us as elected officials to make sure that we're engaging our colleagues in the municipalities that will also be benefiting from this if we receive the funds.
It takes a village, so here we are. If no other comments, roll call, please.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Dunn?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Could I get a motion to accept correspondence?
So moved, done.
Second, Burgess.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item number 11 is council appointments. 11A is Housing and Community Development Commission. One vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointment through June 30th, 2025. There is no gender balance requirement. I'm going to go ahead and do the second one at the same time, which is 11B, the Human Rights Commission. Human Rights Commission, one vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointment through December 31st, 2025. So we'll take the first one and talk about that first, and then we'll quickly transition over to the next one.
I was struck by Denise, and I'm going purely by her phonetics, that I believe it's Seche.
I also support Denise.
That was on my list as well.
Yeah, and I can support Denise as well. We do have a majority there. Any other discussion on Housing and Community Development Commission? We're going to move on to the Human Rights Commission.
I enjoyed correspondence with Viana Cadora. I think she would offer a really good perspective to the commission.
She was on my list as well.
Any other nominations? Yeah, again, we have lots of great applicants, and Viana, I can support as well. Do we have a fourth?
Yeah, yes, I will
Oh,
support as well. Sorry.
Okay, great. All right.
I didn't rattle my head hard.
Oh, yeah, I was looking down. All right, so we have our appointees. So could I get a motion to appoint to our Housing and Community Development Commission, Denise Seche, and for our Human Rights Commission, Viana Cadora?
So moved.
Moved by Dunn,
Second, Alter.
seconded by Alter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. On to item number 12 is announcements of vacancies new. 12A is Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment. One vacancy to fill a five-year term through January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028. Airport Zoning Commission, one vacancy to fill a six-year term, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2029. Board of Adjustment, one vacancy to fill a five-year term, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028. Board of Appeals, one vacancy to fill a five-year term, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028. Climate Action Commission, three vacancies to fill a three-year term, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026. Human Rights Commission, three vacancies to fill three-year terms, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026. Parks and Recreation Commission, two vacancies to fill four-year terms, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027. Public Art Advisory Committee, two vacancies, one at large and one art or design professional to fill three-year terms, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026. Senior Center Commission, two vacancies to fill a three-year term, January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026. Applications must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. Item number 13 is announcements of vacancies previous. Historic Preservation Commission, East College Street, one vacancy to fill an unexpired term. Historic Preservation Commission, Jefferson Street, one vacancy to fill a three-year term. Historic Preservation Commission, Woodlawn Avenue, 1 vacancy to fill an unexpired term. Vacancies will remain open until filled. Housing and Community Development Commission, 1 vacancy to fill an unexpired term. Applications must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Public Art Advisory Committee, 1 vacancy to fill an unexpired term. Applications must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, October 31st, 2023. We're on to item number 14, which is City Council information.
Mayor, I just want to say a little bit about our community and where I know that we stand as a community, and when I think about what this council has committed to in terms of racial equity, social justice, and human rights. Some harm happened here tonight with some words that we heard at the beginning of our meeting, and I think it's important to just remember that as leaders, we have made commitments to upholding and promoting racial equity, social justice, and human rights, that we prioritize our decision-making through that lens, and that in this moment when we are at the state government level banning curriculum for what our children can learn and denying health care to children and reducing bodily autonomy, that what we heard was unexpected but not maybe surprising. And just to acknowledge that fascism and authoritarianism are real, and that the people being emboldened to exercise their right to say those kinds of things directed towards members of our community is really troubling, and that the multicultural and multiracial community that we saw later in the meeting this evening is Iowa City, and that I hope that we all stand up for that.
Hearing nothing else, we're going to go to item number 15, report on items from city staff, our city manager's office,
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
our city attorney,
Nothing from my either. Thank you.
and our city clerk.
Nope, nothing from me.
All right, item number 16, adjournment. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Burgess, seconded by Alter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Good night, Iowa City.